All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Impact Awakening Show. I'm your host, Dwight Perry, and we have a very special guest today, Miss Crystal Vann. I'm so honored that you're on the show. Thank you so much. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You're here. I'm great. I am great. I am great. And we're going to have a fantastic interview today. We're going to be discussing your results from the impact assessment. So, first, thank you so much for taking it. And then, more importantly, taking the time to come back and share yourself, share the results with people, helping them get to the next level. I'm so grateful for your presence. So, thank you so much.
Well, happy to be here.
All right. So, before we get going, this is more for the audience than for you, but for those who haven't taken the impact assessment, please do. It's $20, only takes about 5 minutes, and it breaks down these five emotional pillars: your self confidence, influence, your trust, your relationships, and your fear. And so we're gonna go through Crystal's emotional pulse, and so self confidence is in the mind. Decisions are made through our prefrontal cortex, which is right here, and self confidence is a decision that we have to make every single day. We have to make to keep it, or we decide to relinquish it. Influence is in the mouth. What you say has a true effect on people, and also what you don't say has a true effect on people. And so, understanding your power within what you say. Trust is in the heart. Our trust level depends on how secure our heart is. So, the more secure our heart is, the more we trust. The less secure our heart is, the less we trust. Relationships are in the hands because the hands are the only extremity on the body that can both give and receive. And to be in a relationship, you have to do both. And lastly, fear is at the feet because fear, when it exists inside of us, causes true physical paralysis. But not only physical paralysis, it causes spiritual, mental paralysis, and we want to relinquish that. So, thank you for going through that exercise with me. And Crystal, we're gonna jump right into your impact score, your emotional pulse. So, your total impact score is an 88 out of 100, which is phenomenal. And to be honest, I'm not necessarily surprised by this. But when you and for the listeners, I want you guys to understand this. So your total impact score, it reflects the amount of impact you are currently using, not how much impact you have. That's a very key distinction. We all have the ability to use every bit of impact that God gave us. Every bit of impact that we possess, we can use it. However, life kind of causes us not to use all of it for various reasons. And so we're going to get into that. So when I look at 88%, that means you're 12% away from using all of the impact that you were born with. When you see that score initially, what what was your thoughts when you saw the score? Do you remember? I know you took it a little while ago, but do you remember what your first thought was? Like,
Well, yeah, just like yeah, that's what I was like. That's interesting. Um, so yeah, that was my first thought, and then once I was able to read through everything and understand what it all meant, it made sense. It made sense, and yeah, I was I will like I said in the interview out in my feedback, I was really surprised with the one area where I thought I would have scored higher. So I was kind of shocked on some of the areas that I scored higher in. So yeah.
well, lucky for you, we're gonna get into all of it. We're gonna get into all of it today. So, without further ado, we're gonna jump right in, and we're gonna start with self confidence. So, your self confidence score was 92. It was your highest score, and the title or the moniker for this particular result is your mind is your masterpiece. Your mind is your masterpiece. So I'll read it really quickly and then we'll break it down. Your belief in yourself has carried you so far and will take you to even higher heights. The self belief inside of you will continue to elevate your levels of success. You have high determination and an unbreakable will. There is an aura that surrounds you. And I can say for being around you, we used to work together a long time ago. That for sure is true. When you can execute what you have learned and master, it is a beautiful sight to behold. Continue to work hard and let no one dictate your work ethic. Continue to work hard even when no one is watching. You can create an even better life. Focus on what you want and make it yours. Your mind is your greatest gift. Self confidence is a decision to believe in yourself. Protect that belief. Seek out opportunity because you are built for even greater. You will see signs that you're on the right track. Believe them. So when you read this, and we're reading it together, and we're starting off with your mind is your masterpiece, but when you read this, what are your takeaways? What stuck out? Where did your mind immediately go?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say to you, Dwight, is that I really appreciated the fact that it was so inspirational. Like it's giving me feedback on the analysis of what how I answered the questions, but it's also uplifting and encouraging me. And that's the part where I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. When you do surveys and things, assessments, you don't expect. Um, someone cheering you on and pushing you to keep going after your dreams, right? So that part was what I really really liked, that part. And then the other piece that it talked about, your unbreakable will. And
Mm,
yes, that is me all day. um, you know a lot of times I have ideas and I just go after them. I've always been that, like, this is what I want to do, I'm going to try it. And people try to put self-doubt and you know discourage you and say, oh, you're doing the most. That's what a lot of people always tell me. You're doing the most, you're doing so much. But it's just things I feel like I can achieve it, and I have. There's been a lot of things that I wanted to do, and I went after it, and I made it happen with alignment with you know a higher being. And so,
that's
with that, I just it, that's really it. Really was in line with who I am, and um, I think it was spot on in what how it described me. So.
I will say this. Well, let me ask this question before I say what I want to say. Were you always like this? Were you like this as a little girl that you just saw stuff and went after it, or was this something that you developed over time? Because a lot of people, when we're young, when we're kids, we might have like this fearlessness to go after it. But then after you hear, don't do that, stop that, don't go, you're doing too much. You do that. That kind of corrals us and brings us back in. But for you, it didn't. So where did that come from?
Yeah. Well, and that was what I was gonna say. Um, so yes, from a child, that, and my father will tell you, I've always been very resilient, and just he would tell me even as a little girl, I'd have a lot of different things maybe holding me back, and I would push through, and he
Mm-hmm.
said I would fall down and get back up. That was just always how I've been. And you know, in my I would say right after college, or right after, yeah, right after college was probably um, the place where I feel like I went after my dreams the most without um, any hesitation. It was um, I was growing, I was learning who I was as a woman and what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be and finding my identity and all those things. And with that, I saw some things I wanted in life. Like I was, getting my first home, and um, building my career. And even I'll tell you this, even in my career, uh it was all of like, why can't I do that? And people would be like, what, like shocked, like you're gonna ask to do that, and it was just never like, why shouldn't we be able to, right? Why not push the envelope a little bit? And so I don't know. So I stuck with that. And then I will tell you, yes, as you mentioned, a lot of that over the years, people saying, you can't do this or you shouldn't do that. And that, like I told you, I'm doing the most. So I do believe I fell back, I think, in a lot of my ideas and things that um, I aspire to do, that it did die down a little bit as I got older, but it's still there. Still certain things that I want to do, and I just put my the first feet first, and go after it. And it may not work, and that's the thing too with anything. You need to try it and see where you end up. So I've instilled that in my daughter, and I guess she's the best example, I would say, to what I learned in life, and she is applying it to hers. So
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. You talked to me a little bit about your daughter and the great things that she's doing, and that comes from having someone in her corner that truly believes things can happen. Like,
Yeah.
you can, if you can think it, you can achieve it, and that's you. And the when you're talking, I was just doing a business emporium class. And one thing that we talked about was the words we use. And so, there's want, wish, and desire. And if you look those three up in the dictionary, all of those have an uncertain end. There's only one word that we can use to describe inevitable events in the future, and that's will. Will. And so when in your let me go back, when in your description, when it talks about you have an unbreakable will, that means that you are able to see the future state clearly, so much so you believe it's here now, and you just have to walk or run to it. And everybody doesn't have that vision. And so the fact that you are able to use it in your life and then pass that trait on to your daughter, it means that the greatness that you've already accomplished, that there's more there, because you still are saying, I will, I will, I will. But even better than that, your daughter's starting now on a higher playing field, because her mother has, oh my gosh, I feel my help, because her mother has instilled that in her. And so greatness is spawning from you because of this mindset that you continue to have from a youth. And that's impact. We were born to be fearless, to see the future, to do the impossible. We're born to do it, but life sometimes tells us you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough. And when we start to believe it again, and we make the decision to believe things that aren't true about us from people that don't see our destiny,
Yes.
that's where so many people fall awry. And for you to, despite what you've gone through, to continue to have that will, Crystal, let me let you know, the best is yet to come. There, what you've been seeing is real. It's actually there because you're using will. You're not wishing. You're not wishing. This is not a desire. It's not even a want. All those things fall short of following through. Will, and will alone is what's taking you to where you're going, where you are, and it's going to carry you to where you're going. And you can rest assured. I should buy you. I've been buying people pillows this year because I've been telling them I want you to stop worrying so much. I want you to sleep through the night. And so I gotta give you one of these pillows that I've been buying people, because In 2026, there's a lot of people that's worried about a lot of stuff, but there are certain people that shouldn't be worried. The people who have will,
Mm.
the people who have willpower shouldn't be worried at all because you're gonna get it done. So I just had to get that out because when I'm looking at your confidence score, the thing that keeps ringing back to me is to protect that belief.
Mm.
This it says your mind is your masterpiece.
Yes.
So what would the enemy want to do? Attack you here because
Hmm.
it's your
Yep.
greatest strength. That's where he if I can just get a little doubt in her,
Yes.
if she could just listen to a little negativity, if I can just get it to stick, I can
Mm.
stop her.
Yep.
But you have will, and you will not be stopped. When you hear that, what's going through your mind? I can see you're locked in with me. What's going on through your mind? What do you feel right now? Seeing and hearing it explained in this manner.
You're you're just in alignment with what I've already heard and what I've been hearing and what I know, and yeah, and I'm like I said, it's all this is very encouraging and motivating because there are times when the enemy tries to put those doubts in your head, like giving you reason to believe you can't finish what you started, and that's really been a lot of my theme for this year. A lot of things that I said I was going to do, I wanted to accomplish, and um, life happened, things happen, and um, I there are times when the enemy just kind of puts some things in, well, you can't do that right now, or you shouldn't, or whatever the reasons are, right? And it's funny because that is the one word I don't allow my daughter to say is can't,
Mm,
and because whenever she says she can't do it, she go back and do it. And so I say, this is you need to remove this word from your vocabulary because you can do whatever you put your mind to. And I know I need to continue to remember that for myself as well, and so um and that's the thing too, especially when you're in alignment with what you're called to do. uh and even this, and we'll talk more about this, but even this situation
yeah.
um, is in alignment with what some things that I've had on my plate, things that have been on my heart to do. And once you are in aligned, all the doors start opening, right? And it's just you bring that energy to yourself, right, when you're walking in the right path. And so this is all just confirmation for me, really.
Ah, as you were talking, I just kept hearing your word for 2026 is follow through. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But I'm gonna scroll back up. You're 12% away from using your every bit of power that you were given. In that 12%, I'm gonna tell you something. The 12% that's missing, that's what you think about all the time. That's the crystal that you see on the other side. That's the woman you've been like, I know she's there. I know I'm close, and you are. You are very close. The 12% is the hardest to get to because you're already using so much, and you give so much of yourself. And it's like, do I have a 12 more percent? You do, because the 12% will come through when you follow through. Your
Yes.
ideas, they're connected to people. They're not just ideas. People treat ideas like paper plates. All right, they come, I use it, I get excited. Once my meal's over, I discard it. That's not ideas. You got to think about it like this. There are 8 billion people in this world. Why did this thought come to me? Out of all the people,
Yeah.
why did this thought come to me? Why did it resonate with me? Why do I believe this right now? And the reason why it came to you is because there are people that are connected to the other side of that idea. You are the answer to what they've been praying for, what they've been wondering about, what they've been worried about. It's you. You are the answer. And so when we don't follow through, it's not so much that we let ourselves down, even though we do. We let our fans down. See, there's fans of Crystal that you haven't even met yet. That they're just waiting to see you, to meet you, to understand you, to get close to you, and you haven't seen them yet. And it's in this 12% what we're talking about. The beautiful thing is you've already been making huge impacts on people. But for you to reach the ultimate, what you've been craving, that's what we're diving into today. So I just wanted to say that to you. These ideas that you get, this urge that you get, it's not by accident. It's not by accident at all. It's somebody's been ringing out. I wish somebody would. I hope somebody will.
Mhm.
And then the idea came to you. 2026 is about following through. Any comments there before we go on to the next one? Anything
No,
going to
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's actually, I mean, like I said, it's already something I've been working on. So those are the words I needed to hear. Again, just confirmation on I'm on the right path. So thank you.
Yes, you are. All right. So moving on to your second highest score, which is fear. So you're relatively fearless. I mean, at 90%. I mean, that's incredible. And again, it's like, okay, what's in that 10%? What's in that? Because that 10%, that's where that's where we unlock our ultimate, power. So the moniker for this is fearless mindset, which does correlate with how self confident you are. So this kind of makes a lot of sense. You do not let fear hinder the person you were created to be. You recognize that others depend on you and you fight for them. You learn from the mistakes and pain and you refuse to let fear stop you from trying. This mindset dramatically increases your chances of success. The dream, desire, or goal you chase is achievable. Don't stop until you possess it. Your dream is simply the upgraded version of your future self. Mm. You are fearless, and that fearlessness will carry you to greatness. So when you read that, when you see that, what resonates with you, what's on your mind now.
Yeah. Well, that first line or second line, that I recognize others depend on me and I fight for them. That's really the true essence of who I am. Really is I'm always looking out to trying to help other people, and I see their potential, and I'm always uplifting and encouraging them and fighting for those that um, I guess sometimes don't see their own potential, and
Mm.
those that do, and I want to help them win. Like this is a great. If they have a great idea, I'm like, let's go for it. We'll do everything we can to get you to the next level, and that's how I am for everyone. And so that line right there really resonates with who I am. Um, and then as far as stop having no fear and just keep going. And that's really what I instill in others as well. Like, when I hear them speak, doubt in themselves or negativity, I'm always there to just say, no, you can do it. Let me encourage you. And, I've had a lot of people come back and tell me, you know, I appreciate that because it did. It pushed me to push myself a little harder. So, yeah, that's really the true essence of who I am. So this was right on.
And again, this shows how impactful you are because you have the ability to say a word and it gives people confidence when they had doubt. That's a powerful place to be. To be able to just speak a word or be able to just show up and say, no, you can do it. And then that person who had self doubt says, you know what, because Crystal said I can do it, I know I can do it. So let me ask you this question, because I know there are some people that they're looking at this and they're saying, "Man, like, how does she how does she do that? Like, how does she just, like, how do you when you're alone and there's nobody to encourage you, how do you encourage yourself when if fear does creep up? How do you overcome it? What is pulling you and driving you to say, even though this looks arduous, even though it looks impossible, I'm going? Where does that come from?
It comes from God, honestly, because God is possible. And
Mm,
that and the one thing when I'm sharing with other people and encouraging them, a lot of times why all of this is me giving my own testimony of what God has done for me. Like I believe it because it's been done for me. Those times where I thought things were impossible, God shows up at the very last hour in for me, like at the last minute. It doesn't matter. Like, and so all I have to do is continue to believe that it's going to happen, because I have the evidence that it's happened before and it'll happen again. And
mm,
so all I can do is encourage others to believe the same thing, just push through no matter what. And then when it happens, you have your own testimony and proof that you can do it or that it will happen. And so that's where it comes from for me, honestly. You talk about those things that a lot of people think, oh no, I can't do it, or it's not, all these things are stacked up against me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you believe it and you push through. Things, impossible things can happen. Things get moved out of the way. Other things will just line up, and so and again, I have so many testimonies of that happening in my life, and I believe that that's truly why I continue to push through and encourage others when they have that doubt. It really comes from a lot of people. Some people are just logical, right? They think, oh,
mhm.
logic says this this can't happen because of these things. But I'm always just like, well, you never know. Just try it. Just put forth a little bit of effort and just see what happens. You never know until you try. So that's just been my motto, and like I said, I have the evidence to prove it.
You just reminded me of something. I'm just enjoying myself in this interview. I'm I'm jumping on the inside because this is just phenomenal. Because of your mindset. What you see when I think of the word impossible and I look at the spelling of it,
Mhm.
we hear the word, we look at the definition saying that this is something that is not possible. But even in the word itself, that's supposed to be this is not possible. If you look at it correctly, it says I'm possible.
Possible. Yes.
It
Yes.
says, oh my, the, it
It does.
literally said the even though the definition it's together, it says impossible, not possible. If you separate it just a little bit, it's screaming impossible, and that's what you see.
Yeah.
You don't see the impossibility in it. You see, wait a minute, no, it's possible. It's possible. If anybody has done anything, what makes them different than me? That's that will that you have. Like, hold on, wait a minute. There are people living the life that I see. Hold on. Why are they different than me? What's different about them than me? That audacious mindset that you have, that's what people crave because people don't have that. A lot of folks don't have it. They look and see their circumstances and they say, "Well, it can't get any better for me. This is what it is." But not you. And I know you've been in tough situations. I know you've been in situations where your back was against the wall, but it's your vision that says, "I'm possible."
That's right.
It looks rough, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm possible. Like, and it's so even more amazing that you've had this since a child.
Yeah.
So your parents have to be. That's something that you pick that up from somewhere along the lines. You found out that it was okay to be audacious. It was okay to believe in things that only you can see. And the fact that you're passing down to your daughter, the world is a better place because you're in it.
Yeah,
That's
very
true.
true.
That is true. The world is a much better place because we need people like you that can encourage people from a real place and say, listen, that thing that you think is impossible, it's not. It's not. You just gotta find the recipe. So let's,
Yes.
instead of quitting, let's just add a little extra salt, or maybe we add some basil, or maybe we take out some. Let's just keep mixing this recipe until we get the perfect dish. That's what you do. Okay, let me take out a little fear and let me add a little faith. Let me add a little prayer to this. Let me add a little work to this. Let me take out some doubt, and that's how you're able to maneuver. And I'm just, like I said, I can do this all day with you because your essence, your very presence, and at the top it talked about your aura and self-confidence. Your aura, even on screen, I can feel it. And it's
Mhm.
like, whoa, somebody that's a people changer, an environment changer just entered the chat, just entered the building. And so you just got to keep that. And the fact that, your mind and your feet are connected, that means you can't be moved.
Mm.
Like, that's why I wanted to show the image to everybody, because
Yeah.
everybody's emotional pulse is different. And for yours, it's very interesting because your self-confidence and your feet are aligned.
Mm.
Those are your
Mm.
two strongest. So no matter how the wind blows, you cannot be moved. That's powerful.
Love that.
That's power right there. All right, so we're gonna go into trust, which is in the heart. That is your third highest at 88%. And your moniker for this one says your confidence is their compass. Your confidence is their compass. You are a confident person. You know that you are important to your environment, but you are more important than you even know. You trust yourself most of the time, which is good. However, we want you to evaluate why you don't trust yourself all of the time. When you trust yourself, things work out for you. Do you realize that trust is connected to your heart? Your heart is connected to people. Mm. So the more you trust yourself, the better off the people in your environment will be. People are depending on you to lead them. Continue to trust yourself. The self belief inside of you will take you to where you desire to be. Protect your self belief, which is back up at the top for self confidence. So now it's breaking it down even more that your mind, your feet, and now your heart, when they're all in alignment, now we're getting to the impossibility where it's impossible. And so when you read this, one thing that says you trust yourself most of the time, we want you to trust yourself all of the time. How does that resonate with you? Do you remember times where you hesitated and you're like, man, if I would have just trusted my first mind, it would have been right. When you hear this description of you as far as trust, what resonates? Where's your mind going currently?
Well, that is the main line that stood out for me is why don't you trust yourself all of the time? And it was a question I had to sit with and reflect on for a minute because I don't know why. And again, it's probably those the self doubt and the negative talk that may come from others. Y'all, maybe, like I said, you're doing the most. It's too much. Um, so I think that it's those things that probably put a pause for me. Um, and I realize, like you're saying, yeah, a lot of what I don't do is tied to someone else, and how I, like I said, I've encouraged, I know that I've um, been able to encourage others. And really, I wouldn't say it was intentional. Again, a lot of it's just me sharing my own testimony and showing others they can. So I think when I've dialed back and maybe not shared or um, had my own self doubt and that again came from someone else putting those ideas in my head. Even though I know what I've been able to accomplish in the past, and yeah, I don't know why I allowed those negative thoughts to stop me. Again, we know the enemy comes to attack our mind, and so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that happens, or the whole point I think a lot of times with fear is the fear of failure, right? You think you're going to fail, so you don't do it, or you just stay stagnant because you don't want to fail. And so I think that's the other piece too. Also, for myself, I think too, fear comes from um, what comes with that, right? There's going to be a lot of expectations once you
Mm-hmm.
do something, all of the things that follow, and I think
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that may cause someone to say, "Well, can I take all that on? Is that really what I want to bring in my life, right?" So sometimes that pauses you and causes you to. So I think if anything, those are the things that maybe stopped me, just when can I handle all of what's to come.
So let me address a few things for you, Miss Crystal. Number one, you're built for it.
Mm,
So um, you're built for what you see.
mm,
There's a reason why there's an unrest until you make it to where you know you belong. And to manifest, people have really, really screwed up what that means. And I'm on a mission to debunk what people have said because I'm someone who really focuses on words. I'm a wordsmith. I love words. And I've looked up what manifest means. And to manifest means to make clear and to make obvious. That's the definition of manifest. It's not to think it and believe it and then it happens. That's not what it is. It is to make clear and obvious. And so that crystal that you've always seen at that certain level, at that certain life, it's been clear and it's been obvious to you. And that's why you keep fighting for it. You keep fighting for her because it's clear and it's obvious. Now, we already see that your masterpiece is your mind. So now you know the enemy is going to come for your mind. If he can't get your mind, he's coming after your heart.
yeah,
He's coming after your trust. That's where he's coming. So, this is why understanding who we are and having this assessment kind of be the mirror and the guide is so important because if I know where you're coming from, I can protect myself.
mm,
So I have a question for you. Those people that say you're doing too much, that you're too much, and why are you doing all that? It don't take all that. Are those people living the life that you desire?
I wouldn't say so.
So, what qualifications do they have to speak negatively on you when they aren't even excelling in the life that's described for them? They aren't doing what they're supposed to do in their life. They're not bearing their cross. They're not using everything that God gave them. They're not impacting people the way that they're supposed to. What gives them the authority to speak over you and you listen to them more than you've listened to yourself when you know your winners? You know your victories. They don't know all your victories. So, again, going back to self confidence in the mind, this is your masterpiece. You know what you know. Confidence comes from putting that work in and seeing the results. You have seen the results of your hard work, of your belief, of your will. So when anybody comes and says anything negatively to you, now you got to understand, like I said, I'm a wordsmith. There's a difference between someone being negative and having constructive criticism. Those two things are polar opposites. There's a difference between someone says, Crystal, you're doing too much, versus Crystal, I see where you want to go. All right, what I see you're lacking is this. Let me work with you, or let me get a professional that I know, someone who can help add this to you, and then you got it. Those are two different conversations.
Yes.
So, who's in your ear? Because your ear gives access to your mind and your heart. So, you have to be very careful about who you listen to and the credentials that they hold. I'm not going to go to a baker to ask them questions about lawn care. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to a medical doctor and ask them questions about fixing my car. So, why do we listen to people who are not experts at what we're asking them for? Come on now.
Right.
I have to check your credentials if you are trying to correct me. Everybody can't correct me. Everybody, I don't give people that type of access to correct me. You can only correct me if you are an expert in this field. I'm not going to let a novice correct me when I know I do research for myself. When I know I put the work in myself. I know the things that I've accomplished on my own. I know whose I am. I'm not
Yes.
gonna let somebody correct me and they don't have the credentials. Oh no. I'm not gonna do that. So when you hear that, what comes in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Again, yeah, you're right on. If someone doesn't have the credentials and they're not living the life that that you want to lead, why would you listen to them? So you have a valid point. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, we're not doing that in 2026. You
Mhm.
you got to count the cost in 2026. If you aren't being, and what I've been telling people, I had a young man had to interview him last night, and I told him that he needs to, when people are being negative to him, he got to understand that you need to call them out right there. You're being negative, and let me
Yeah.
teach you something. If you want me to be better, then criticize me in a way that's constructive. If you don't have a way to constructively criticize me, keep your comments to yourself. And he said, well, what if they stop talking? Like, what if they get offended? I said, then you know they didn't have your good in mind in the first place.
Mhm.
We have to call things out by name. The enemy is not stronger than us. The reason why we get quote unquote is defeated is because we get quiet when he challenges us. When
Mhm.
negativity comes in our life, we get quiet. Instead of saying, you don't have to be argumentative, you can just say, you're being negative, you're not giving me constructive criticism. So, if you have constructive criticism, give me that. If you don't, leave me alone. Those are your two options. Because I
Yeah.
don't let anything and everything come into my ear gate. And so right now, you are acting like an enemy. I don't believe you're an enemy, but you're acting like one. So why don't you start again? Now, you say I'm doing too much. Why is that? And let me ask you another question. The people that I'm chasing after, the type of life I want, how do those people comport themselves? Since you know so much, how do those people do it? Those people that you watch on TV, are they doing too much? Those people that live the life that you want, are they doing too much? Do you have that same feedback for them? Or do you scream when Beyonce come on? Or do you say, "Oh, Michelle Obama, you got it, girl. When they go low, we go high." Are they doing too much? I just want to know. That's how you shut the enemy down. Because then they say, "Well, oh, Crystal, hold on. You comparing yourself to Beyonce and Michelle Obama? Who do you think you are?" "Oh, you just told me that you don't know who I am. That's all you did was show me you don't know who you're talking to. So since you don't know who you're talking to, I'm gonna remove myself. But just watch. That's you."
And to your point too, you said they don't know whose you are is the other
Mm.
part, right? Because those things that you may think me as a person can't do, I have the backing and the resource of someone so much higher. So why wouldn't I believe I can do anything, right?
Mm.
Or why, if doing the most, well, I got all the resources. So yeah, that's the way I think about it.
Ooh, you just gave me something else. When people come at you that way, "Oh, you don't believe in God." What? No, you don't believe in God. You don't believe in Him. Why? Well, the Bible says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. The Bible says I
Yeah,
can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. The Bible
that's
says I
right.
have an expected end. The Bible says that He is my confidence. So you're mad because I believe that He is who He is and He made me who I am? Maybe you don't believe Him the way you think you do. What can they say to that?
Right.
So that's all. We're not gonna be quiet in 2026. The enemy come. We're gonna call the enemy out politely.
Yeah.
We're not, and there's no arguments. This is not. I'm not bashing you or nothing like that. I'm just telling you, you're coming at me the wrong way. Clearly, you don't see who I am, and so since you don't see me for who I am, that means that the advice you think you're giving is not coming from the right place, and so I'm gonna have to excuse myself until you can come up with a better way to articulate your thoughts towards me. And I'll also challenge you and ask, "Well, are you doing everything? Show me the way. Show me your blueprint then. Since you have it all together. Um, Show me your blueprint. What are you doing? How are you getting to the next level? I want to see it." "Oh, you don't have it." Mm, okay. That's exactly what I thought. What can they say? Not a thing. All right. Influence. And again, all your scores are through the roof. And it's just how do we, you're 86% on influence. How do we get that extra 14%? Um, Influence with intention. You are influential whether you realize it or not. Your words uplift, and your energy shifts environments. Your energy shifts environments. We're going to get into that in a second. Do not doubt this wonderful ability to influence others that you possess. You can brighten someone's day and conversely, ruin someone's day based on the power you decide to exhibit. Use your influence for good. Understand that you are a people shifter. Use your power wisely. You are a stabilizing force, the kind that can move others towards greatness. So I'm going to stop and pause here. What resonates when you read your results?
And this part, this is the humble side of me, I would say. Um, I was kind of shocked by this part, I guess. But I have learned over time that um, and then I guess this is just with in relationships, and you do have to be careful with the words you say, right? And so I know that yeah, I can encourage people, but there have been times where something I've said is really meant to have been positive, but it was taken a different way. And so I have learned to be very careful with my words. And that's the part, I guess. So to the point is that my words have power, that I have that power to affect someone that way, and I didn't realize that. And so I've learned to be very careful in that area. Um, but yes, as far as just the influence, yeah, that's the part where I'm just like, well, it's just really all I do is just try to uplift and encourage others. That's really what my goal is, and what I'm about. Like, I don't really have a lot of negative energy. I don't think. I hope I try not to anyway. Um, and so that's just who I am. I just try to stay positive and share that positivity with others as well. So
So this is what I want to dive into, because when people have this score in influence, I have to give them a charge, because having influence is not a game. It's not a joke, because there are two things that stuck out to me. Your energy shifts environments. I am sure that there have been times where you've been in environments where you felt uncomfortable, where you felt uneasy, where you're like, this this isn't right. This don't feel right. And also around people where you're like, no, no, don't like this, don't like this. The fact that now seeing your influence score, you have the ability to change any environment that you're in to make it comfortable for you. That means that no one can trap you in their negativity. But it takes you speaking up when you feel these things, because you were blessed with the power of influence. And see, when a person who's influential says the environment in the room isn't optimal, I have to change it, or else the people in the room have to change. That gets people's attention. And so I surmise that there have been times, and this is why in the beginning I said influence is what we say and also what we don't say. I surmise there's been times where you have been in environments that are uncomfortable. And going back to self confidence, you made a decision. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to, just not going to say anything. But Crystal, I want to let you know you are equipped and you are eloquent enough to use the correct words to diffuse situations. And it is your charge to do that. Because when people are upset, enraged, out of their mind, their decision making process is skewed. And if that happens in your presence, you're a people mover, a people shifter. You have the ability to just put your hand on someone's shoulder and they
yeah,
calm down.
yeah,
And you've probably recognized this for a long time and just not known
yeah,
what to call it.
yeah.
So as I'm talking through this, what comes? I saw you started smiling. Like,
Yeah.
what comes to your mind?
Well, actually, several situations in my daily day job. I work with people that sometimes their emotions may get the best of them, I'll say. Um, and it literally just happened 2 days ago. A lady was very upset and she kept apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. Um, that I have to say this. And like but she kept, and she's like, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep apologizing, because she knew that my tone with her, it was not called for, what she was saying and her reaction. And then it even got to the point where we were on a call, we got disconnected, and she reached back out to me, and she's like, I'm so sorry, my energy and the way I came across was unnecessary. And she's like, you were just so calm and patient the whole time. I appreciate that. And it's just there sometimes it's just not a need for reaction, and I guess I've just learned to just let people, let it out. And yeah, I think, like you're saying, my response to her caused her to see she needed to change. And didn't take it. It didn't really even take me saying much, like you're saying. I used
Mhm.
some words, but it wasn't any. I was still the same calm, um, positive person, even though she was not. So yeah,
Mhm. She felt your influence even
yeah,
through the phone.
hmm,
I gotta let you know how powerful you are now. You have to understand this. You gotta know having the ability to shift environments. Think about what you're saying. Some woman that doesn't even see you has a real issue that you didn't cause, but you're trying to resolve. 99% of other people in that, and they are going at them, they're going to retort in probably a way they don't want to get fired, but they're going to let them know, listen, they're going to match energy.
yeah,
But you are a people shifter. You are an environment shifter. And when you are an environment shifter, you don't match energies, you change the energy. Ooh, come on. That's who you are. You change the energy. Energy's hostile. Energy's high right now. It's okay. I'm
yeah,
here to help.
yeah,
Get it out, but just know when you calm down, then I can execute and solve your
right,
problem. Can't do it while you're up here. But I'm gonna
right,
let you, but your feelings are valid. So I'm gonna let you do that. But once you calm down, once you feel better,
hmm,
we can resolve the issue that you called about. That's a people shifter. That's you.
yeah,
That's power, Crystal. That is power. And if you can do that over the phone, you can do that in any business that you have. So this ties back into your will and the ability to make things happen. So now we've talked about how your self confidence high, fear high, trust high, influence high, influence high. You can make people feel any way you want them to feel. That's power.
mm,
Even make them believe in themselves.
yeah,
To make another human being believe more about themselves than they feel about themselves, that's power. That's who you are. And so that's why on this part, when influence, I always take this really seriously because the opening line is you are influential whether you realize it or not. That's the opening line. Now you realize it. Now it's no variance now. You know for a fact I'm influential. And you got to keep in your mind, I'm a people changer. I'm an environment changer. But it don't feel good. That's why interviews should never scare you. Why would you be afraid of an interview when I can make everybody in the room feel exactly how I want them to feel about me?
mm,
Sales calls should never frighten you. All I got to do is talk to them. All they got to do is see my smile. All they got to see my kind eyes, and I can make them trust me. So going into business with the skill set, with the impact that you have, should be a joy because you can make people believe what you want them to believe. And so if you have a product to believe in, and this is where I think the your next evolution, the 12%. This is where we got to get back to how do we get to using all of it. And I think we're gonna get into this in relationships, but you when you see other people have great things, you want to do everything in your power to make it happen for them. But you have to use that same energy for yourself.
Yep.
That's that's the 12%. That's the 12%. All of this energy that you give to others, all the encouragement you give to others, all of this influence you give to others, where your 12% is channeling that into the products and services that you believe in, and you get an army behind you that believe in you like you believe in others. That's the crystal that you've been dreaming about, that relies in that 12%, that life that you envision, that you know is real. These are the missing when we talked about ingredients earlier. These are the ingredients to feel about yourself how you feel about other people you believe in. Because guess what? We want to be your fans too. We want to root for you too. You're our hero too. There are people that can't wait. Crystal, can't wait to be your fans. Cannot wait. But you have to show up. You have to put your birth out there. You got to do that part. You have to birth it and let the world come behind you and root for you like you do for everybody
Yeah, thank you. I think you're right. I think that I know for sure. Again, this is so in alignment with some things that have been brought to my attention recently. So I appreciate that. That's
else.
definitely what I need. Thank you.
That's what we're here for. And this is just the beginning. I have a feeling that you'll be back. I have a strong inclination that you will be back and that you will be a fan favorite because there's so many people that have the heart that you have and that want to pour out and pour into so many other people and yet forget to fill themselves up. And this is where we're going to for our last one, and I'm gonna pull the for the audience the relationships in the hands. The relationships are in the hands because the hands are the only extremity that can give and receive. And relationship is about giving and receiving. It's about reciprocity. And so we're going to spend some time on this one because this is your lowest score. It's still 84%, so it's still high, but it's your lowest score. And at this point, we're just trying to get to that 12%. Like, so we have to be nitpicky now. Like, we have to get there. This is the hardest part because you've done so much of the work already. So it's like, how do I get to the next level? That's what everyone. How do I get there? We're talking about that now. So we're gonna dive into your relationships, rooted in respect, powered by connection. That's your moniker for this. Rooted in respect, powered by connection. You value connection deeply. Feedback fuels you, and you flourish when surrounded by others who encourage your ideas. Mutual respect in relationships slash the team dynamic is extremely important to you. It bothers you when you feel like people do not value what you say. You thoroughly enjoy the team and relationship dynamic when everyone is respected. However, it gets under your skin if you feel like the respect isn't mutual. You are strong and can stand alone if it is necessary. You are a champion for respect, and any disrespect will not be tolerated. Be sure not to rush to judgment. Analyze the entire situation before labeling something as disrespect. This will protect you from putting yourself in compromising situations. So when you read your relationships, which is your lowest score, but it's still super high, it's 84%. But again, we're nitpicking. We're trying to get to that 100. We're trying to get to as high as we can get to. When you read your description or your results, what comes to mind?
Yeah, this one was the one that I had the most difficulty with. Um, I was shocked by it because I feel like it states, connection. I care about that deeply. Family is important. All my friendships are important. I love hard. And to think that this is the area that I struggle with. Yeah, that was kind of shocking. But as I read through it, I realized. A lot of that I believe is, like it mentions, I can stand alone. So a lot of times I got it. I can do it myself. It's hard for me to ask for help. I don't like to ask for help. I like to just do everything myself. And, even when it comes to work and delegating tasks, and I put a lot on myself, which also probably aligns with the doing the most, right? So in that prayer, I want to just kind of go back to that piece when we were talking about that. I think that doing the most sometimes people that have said it could also it's coming from a heart of they care for me and they think I'm doing too much. They're trying to protect my peace and trying to protect what I'm
Mm,
doing. And I'm always doing other things for everyone else, like you mentioned, cheering other people on, and a lot of times not taking care of myself. So that piece of it is kind of in line with that. So with what all that is dealing with, I think is really I more on just I'm trying to align with what the hands, like you mentioned, giving and
mhm.
receiving. So the receiving piece, I think, is probably where the lack is, from based on what you're saying here. Um, the respect. Oh, the other piece about when I do feel a lot of times where there's things I say and it just goes over people's head, like, oh, she doesn't know, or and the reality is I do know. Like I really do. Either I've experienced and I have the evidence, like I've mentioned before, I've been through it before, or um, I've done my own research and I just know, right? So a lot of times it's they I don't know what it is. It's just that maybe I don't have enough experience for them to believe that I know. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there are times, and so I do get a little offended because they'll go and ask someone else, and then it's this, like, oh yeah, you were right. So that piece, I definitely was aligned with that. Or even in corporate America, there's times where you know. It's not that my voice is silenced, but it's a comment that's made and it's just kind of, like I said, just brushed over. And someone else can say it in a different way, and it was just what I said, So that's the part where I do kind of have I get a little, um, with the relationship part. I guess that's where I would have some issues. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it was spot on here, and I do believe this is probably where the giving, receiving part is where I have that lack.
I mean, there's so much I want to get into this, because again, people who have the heart that you have and that are just true givers believe that their reward for giving is just the other person's happiness.
Yeah.
That is false.
Mm.
That is not true. The reward for you giving to others is them recognizing that you gave and giving back to you.
Mm.
And until you can accept that, you have to accept that you aren't in relationship.
Oh wow. Mm. That's deep right there. Yeah.
Is and let me take my time with it because this is an area that the givers struggle with. So I just had, like I said, just had a business emporium, and what I was talking about was that everything in business is about reciprocity. Everything. I am providing a service or a product of value. And how I understand that you recognize the value that I have given to you is that you pay for it. And when that reciprocity, when that sequence happens, that's when I feel fulfilled and you feel fulfilled. That is relationship. If you're ever in a situation where you are providing value and you are not receiving value back, that is an indication that you're not in a relationship. You're in partnership. Now, again, I'm a wordsmith. So many people, especially on the internet, I want a partner, I want a partner, I want a partner, I want a partner, I want a partner. I need a partnership. In business, we understand that a partnership can be 90-10, 85-15, 75-25. It's whatever we agree upon those terms. Relationship or reciprocity is when I give value, I receive value. So when you understand the definition of both, you would be insane to say I want partnership in a relationship. You would be
Right.
insane because you are saying that someone can offer me giving 99% of myself and they give 1% of themselves and I'm satisfied with it. Now, how many times have we been in situations like that?
Yeah.
Where we give our value and they take our value and then turn right around and act like we haven't given them value.
Right.
And it's because we're not in relationship. And the only one who doesn't understand that we're not in a relationship is the giver. The taker knows that we're not in a relationship. That's why they can take and take and take and take and feel no remorse for it. Because they
Yeah.
understand I'm not in a relationship. I'm in partnership. And if this person gonna keep giving to me, I'm gonna keep taking from them.
Yeah.
But in relationship, when I provide value, my customer, which and I'm using these business terms, but this can be romantic. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
we're always in business. My customer recognizes my value and wants to provide me back value. That's a relationship. That's giving and taking. And so you have to get to a place. We're talking about the 12% now.
Mhm.
I told you this the hard part.
Yeah.
You done already done all the hard. You done 88%. You up there. So now we're doing the hard inner work. There has to become a time when you say, I'm not giving my value away for free.
Mm.
The Bible says, do not cast your pearls amongst the swine. Givers have a hard time not giving their value to pigs. I just call them by name. A pig has no interest in reciprocity. A pig wants their slop and they're going to eat it. And as much as you give them, they're going to take it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that might be in your environment, might be in my environment, that are pigs. And we keep trying to give value to the pig. But the pig, all the pig see is you're giving me more slop. Mm. And so you wonder why the pig can't see it as value. Because it can't. It's a
Yeah.
taker. It can't. It sees it as slop, something that it just gobbles up. And it has an insatiable appetite.
Mm.
But that's why you have to understand if you're dealing with a taker, you got to call a taker by name. Feed it, you swine. And the Bible tells me not to cast my pearls to you. So if you don't recognize my value, I can't help you. This is the hard stuff. This is the hard part here. And the crazy thing is everything else in your body is aligned, but your hands, they're on the outside.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
so
Yeah.
so
Yes.
for you, giving ain't a problem. Giving come easy. It come natural.
Yeah.
It's the receiving that's hard. But what I would challenge you in this regard, if you understand that business is about reciprocity, it's about the process of giving goods and services and receiving compensation. How can you excel in business when you have a problem receiving?
That's a good question. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about through the business and symposium. We're helping folks with the mindset, correct mindset to go into business. If you are so used to giving away value for free, going into business for yourself is so very dangerous
Mm-hmm.
because your urge to help people will
Mm-hmm.
cause you to give away product and have nothing in return. That's how
Yeah.
people go bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's how companies go belly up.
Yeah.
So this is the going back to the emotional pose, going back to the impact. So when we going back to this 12%, it's like, well, I'm only 12% away, but the 12%, it's the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's the I gotta turn them away.
Mm.
But I know I just had this in our class, and because we have people that just, this part they this was rough. This was rough for them. This was
Yeah.
rough. I've had calls since then, and they say, Dwight, you hit me hard on this one. I said, I know,
Yeah.
because here's the complex that givers have. What are they gonna do without me? If I don't help them, who will?
Mm.
And a taker will use that to get free value. So what I did, I answered that question for the class. What will that person do without if they don't reciprocate value for the value you're giving to them? The only thing they're gonna do is find another person that they can take from.
Mm.
You don't have to save the pig. Pig's not looking to be saved. Pig is looking to take. And if they can't take from you, they'll find someone else to. Because they've
Mm-hmm.
rehearsed this. They know how to pull on your heartstrings. They've rehearsed it.
Right.
Oh, Crystal, I mean, it's so bad right now. I just
Mm.
don't know what to do. I've been praying. I've been fasting, and
Yes.
like God told me to come and talk to you, Crystal, because I know that you
Yeah.
love people, and I know that you'll help me in my time of need. And you being the good Christian woman, okay, whatever you need.
Yeah.
That ain't Bible. That's not Bible. If you
Right.
recognize it's a swine, it says, don't, do not, do not do this. Do not cast your pearls to
Mm.
them. God trying to save you. He's trying to protect
Right.
the gift. That's why he talks about soil and planting seed in good soil.
Yeah.
We will plant seed to anybody with a sob story. Is that good soil? So we wonder why, God, why do I feel so empty? Why is this work? Who are you giving to?
Mm.
Who's taking your energy? Who? Who are these people? Are they good soil? The folks that need $500, you give it to them now. Are they gonna need $500 next month? Yes, they are. Why? Not good soil. Will they accept you teaching them how to make more than $500? No, they will not. These are all indicators. Oh, you're a pig. Mm. If you
Mm.
don't want to use that term, oh, you're not good soil. The Bible says don't plant in bad soil. Got it. Hey, I'm not gonna be able to help you unless you are able to provide some value to me. And if people don't want to pay, barter. But in 2026, nothing is free.
Mm.
Our at the symposium, our symposium, our motto is MEMM. Make everything make money. Everything. You have to get in that mindset that if I'm providing value, it's people that call you just for advice.
Mm.
Now, if you said before you give me this advice, I need you to Apple pay me $10 first. Would they still want your advice?
Probably not.
So they just showed you who they are.
Yeah.
So with this mindset, only two things will happen. Either you're gonna make more passive income than you've ever made in your life because you'll be receiving the value that you're giving, or you will have peace. Those are the only two things that happen. Because people
Yeah.
will stop robbing you of your most expensive commodity, which is time.
Right.
There's only two things that'll happen. This is reserved for people who know that they're the head. Oh, that comes from the Bible too. And not the tail. The tail accepts anything. The
Mm.
head. This is the going back. This is the 12% that we was talking about. This the hard work.
Yeah.
This is that. So I'm gonna, because I know this is a lot. What is what is going on in that beautiful mind of yours right now? Because I see you locked in.
Mm.
What are the thoughts? Because I know it's hard. I know it's tight, but it's right. It's tight. Now I
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying to you. But what's going on in your mind? What are your thoughts?
I mean, you hit everything on the head, really. I mean, I, it's something I have recognized about myself. Yeah, like I said, I'm a giver, and a lot of times to my own detriment, and even with time, like you're saying, that is valuable, and I give a lot of it to people without anything, and not that I'm seeking, but like you're saying, that's the whole. I need to learn how to receive, and so I give a lot, and so yeah, and you, I guess what's going through my mind is that these different relationships that I have with people where they are just takers, and I'm recognizing that, and I'm recognizing um, some things I need to change there. So yeah, I think that you hit it on the head. Where I see where that 12% is going. So yeah, it makes sense.
This does my heart very well. Um, this interview for me has been very enriching because of your aura. Because I can see your heart. I can see even your confidence. Like you have this very quiet confidence. When you say it, made me chuckle because I'm like, oh, I see how she does it. When you say, people may think I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. That's that confidence. That's that,
Yeah.
and I said, that's it. And this year coming up, Man, obviously we're gonna have some work and stuff that we got going on behind the scenes, but this year is all about. There's two things that now, after going through your entire emotional pulse, two things that stick out in my mind: following through on your ideas because they're connected to people.
Mhm.
Following through, that's huge. And then two, being comfortable with receiving the value that you're giving.
Mhm.
Those are gonna be your two biggest challenges. But when you conquer them, because you will, it's not gonna take long for your life to go to what you've been looking at.
Yeah,
It's not.
I believe
Because
it.
when you get the right recipes,
Yes,
see, when you got the right ingredients,
I love that.
taking out with and now you're putting in, and these
Yeah,
were the two things. Oh my, I feel my health. Thank you, Lord.
yeah,
When you woo woo, oh my God, when you
yeah,
start putting in the right, and these were the two things.
yeah,
These two things right here. Those were, and they were silent. They were latent. They were dormant. So it's not something that's
mhm,
very obvious. You
yeah,
know, this took deep analysis to get to these two pillars, but they're so important. They're
yeah,
so important. People need you. People are rooting for you. They need you to follow through, and then you need to be in relationship, true relationship, with everybody you encounter. And if they don't want to be in relationship with you, you have to have the strength to call them by name.
yeah.
I see what you are, so I'm gonna tell.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you. I mean, and that's why, that's why I'm telling people start off with something small. People call for
Yeah,
advice. Hey, before you, but I'm ready. I know you're calling me because you know that I'm gonna encourage you, and I understand that. I have a service now. I'm a consultant. I'm a people consultant now. You didn't know it, but and you are my client. You didn't even understand that, but yes. So I'm so glad you called. You're one of my favorite clients. Before we get started, I need $10. I need $10 before we start. Huh? Oh, oh yeah, no. I'm in business for myself. This is one of my
yeah,
services that I provide. People call me for encouragement. This is my service that I provide for
mhm.
people. And so for you, it's only $10. You how you want to do that? You want to Zelle it? You want to Apple? How you want to do that?
Oh
And
wow.
then watch they now the gratification will be for those who see your value. Say, Crystal, I can't just give you $10. Not for what you're doing for me. Here's 100.
Mhm.
Now I want you to feel that.
Yeah.
Now you like, wait a minute. You see what I'm giving you, and
Yeah,
see money in the hand of a giver is beautiful because that giver gonna help other people. But if you're giving your value away for free, you can't truly give on the level that you're supposed to.
yeah, yeah.
It's actually
It's
selfish
true.
for you not receiving. And some of this is on the giver, like I told the class. We have to be very careful with our words. There are times, and I don't know if you've been through this, but at least I know at least three people in our class that they came out and said there have been times where people have tried to give me things for stuff I did with them, and I told them, no, I don't need anything. Keep it. Don't give it to me.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
said, so you've been in that scenario as well.
yeah, yeah.
I told them you're cursing yourself.
Mm,
Everybody got silent. Boy, what do you mean I'm cursing myself? Listen what you're telling the environment, the atmosphere. Don't give me for what I give.
mm,
I am undeserving to receive.
mm.
That's what you're telling the atmosphere.
Yeah,
And so when people just only want to take from you, and you're like, well, where are the people who see me, who give? You cursed yourself, and you have to reverse the curse.
yeah,
I'm
Wow.
open to receiving. If
Hmm.
someone wants to give to me, thank you. I appreciate
Hmm. Yeah.
it. Anytime you need anything else, I'm here.
Right.
And if they don't have money, which people be lying, they have money because they get what they want
Mhm.
to get. But if they
Yeah.
don't, you let them know, okay, well, if you don't have the $10, then I work on a barter system. So I'm gonna listen to you and give you advice. But just know there's gonna be a time where I call you and I'm gonna need something for you for my service because I don't do anything for free for anybody.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is what we learning. This is what we teaching. This is the mindset that it's going to take to get you to where you are supposed to be. And it's
Mhm.
uncomfortable. So that's why I'm telling people to start with small numbers.
Yeah.
$10. You can't even get a McDonald's sandwich for $10 anymore.
That's
So you
crazy.
telling me you won't even give me more than some fake meat that you gonna eat? That's how you feel
Mm.
about me? Nah, I'm gonna keep my value to myself. If you can't recognize what I'm providing for you,
Yeah.
that's fine with me. But your 2026 is resisting the urge to give anyway.
Mm.
That's where this 12% is rough. Is is it rough? Is it's rough, but you can do it. You will do it, and you will be better for it
Yeah.
because this is how you. If we go back to the bottom, tying it all together, rooted in respect.
Hmm.
This is how you demand it now.
Yeah.
You now have, and we'll talk offline about this as we go into the business support and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
everything of value now you will charge for starting in 2026, and that is everything. People calling you, Crystal, I need help. Good, I need money. So, what is it that you need help with? Because you're not calling Crystal anymore. This is not Crystal. This is
Mhm.
Miss Vann's helping service. Or this is the Enlightenment Center or the Encouragement Center. You
Yeah.
so
Yes.
the Make You Smile consultant firm. So I don't call me by Crystal right now. With this is
Yeah.
because you said you need something. Need means that you got a question and I'm your answer. So you can go ahead and send me that $10 uh for you because I love it for you. It's $10, and then
Mhm.
tell me all you want to tell me.
Right.
Now you don't want to tell me nothing now because it costs $10. Then thank you. You show
Yeah.
me that you're not climbing that you just want to take from, and
Mm.
I appreciate you showing me who you are.
Right.
That wasn't mean. That wasn't mean how I said that. That was
Right.
not mean. But it's rooted in respect. It's saying you will not run over me.
Right.
That is my charge to you in 2026. This interview has been, like I said, one of my favorites for a number of reasons. This has been one of my favorite interviews, and so I will give you the last words. Let us know what you learned, what you're thinking, what your takeaways from going through your emotional post from the impact assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the main thing I learned was, yeah, how influential I am. I need to really recognize that and take ownership of that, right? And be intentional with what that is. And then, yeah, the other part, which you just talked about, is hard part. And I'll be honest, it's something I've actually been working on this year for years, really, but really focused on this year was is the conflict. When I have to have those hard conversations with people that um, were not respecting my value and my time, and I had to have a conversation, and it was difficult. It was very difficult, and I had it. So it took two times and a mediator to come in to get a resolution to it because, again, my voice wasn't heard. They weren't hearing me, and not what I was saying, and so it was very difficult for me. But I felt a huge weight lifted after I did
Mhm.
that. I felt stronger for it, and so this is just again so aligned with what I needed to hear and what I need to do, what I need to do more of. And so, it's been a blessing for me as well. I've enjoyed this interview as well. And again, like I told you, the assessment itself just gave me so much motivation and encouragement, and got my wheels turning on some things that I need to do and some things I need to change. And again, a lot of this has to do with being very intentional and recognizing and really stepping into who I am and who I'm called to be. And so I thank you. I thank you for this. It's been great.
Well, I thank you. This has been fantastic. And for the audience, thank you so much for staying with us the whole hour and 30 minutes. And we got a lot of nuggets. We got a lot of jewels from Miss Vann. We got so much from her. This will not be your last time seeing her. I can assure you of that. I can promise you this will not be the last time she's on this. You will see her again probably sooner than you think. Crystal, thank you so much for being a part of the Impact Awakening show. I'm gonna call you offline after this. But for everyone else, thank you so much. If you haven't taken the impact assessment, please do. The link is below. And remember, you cannot fix what you cannot see. Thank you so much. All right.